Welcome back. Now it's time to work on this button, because if you click on this button, it's going to take you to the single article page, but nothing is going to be displayed because I created this page and I didn't work on the content of this page. So in order to display the content of a specific article, we need to transfer remember, we need to transfer these values from here to the single article. How can we do that? To do that, first of all, we need to import here. We need to say PHP and then include once, and then we need to include the header. I'm going to say header.php, and then we need to also include the footer. We need to say here PHP, and then include once, and then footer.php. And between, we need first to open a PHP script, and then we need to check and get the data. So in order to check these values and check whether they exist or not, we need to use if statement. I'm going to say if, and then a post request. I'm going to be using the isSet function, and I'm going to also use the post. I'm going to say post, and then we need to check each single element we passed. Remember, we passed the description, the content, and the URL. So I'm going to say here is set post description. If it's set description and is set, and then post content, and here and is set, and then post, and then URL. The third one was URL. And you can even check the emptiness of these. You can check whether they are empty or not, but it's additional if you want to do that. And here I'm going to say else. If they are not set, then we need to say here header, and then we need to take the user to the index again. We need to say location and then index.php. So in case of error, we need just to return the user to the index. This is in case of error. In case of success, in case we have the description and the content and the URL, we can display these. So first we need to store them in variables. I'm going to say description is going to be equal to the description. So in order to store it, we just need to say post and then description, and then semicolon. And then we can also say description and then the content is equal to post and then content. Similarly, for the URL, we can say URL is equal to post URL. Now we need to display these similar to what we have done here. So we need to copy the code from here. However, we don't need to have a for each loop, because this is not a loop. This is just going to display the content. Therefore, I'm going to copy this code. And then I'm going to paste it here, but we need to fix many things. I'm going to first paste it here. However, we need to first remove this form. I'm going to remove this form completely. And also, what we need to do is that we need to push this, and then we need to close here the PHP here, close PHP. This is very tricky. You need to pay attention to this. And then here you need to open a new PHP script. Here you need to say PHP, and then it's here will close here. It's going to close the PHP. So again, this part is PHP, and then this part is HTML, and then this part is again PHP, and then we have also PHP. So here for HTML, we need to display the description, the content, and the URL. So instead of displaying the title, we don't have the title anymore. So we need here to remove this title, and I'm gonna get the title later. And instead of displaying the author, we don't need to display the author here anymore. Instead, we need to display the content or the description. So here I'm gonna remove this if statement, and instead I'm gonna say echo, and then I'm gonna echo the content. You can also echo here semicolon. You can echo also the description above the content. So I'm going to copy this content, and then I'm going to paste it above, and then I'm going to say description. You can also echo the URL. You can paste it here, and then say URL. And let me now save, and let me head on over to the browser. But we have a problem here with this URL to image. So we need to get a URL. We need to get the image. So to get the image, we need to pass the image as well here with these. So we need to say input, and then we need to say text type is equal to text, and then we need to say value, and the value is going to be equal to PHP, and then echo, and then object, and we need to pass the URL to image, URL to image, and then semicolon, and we need to say name, and the name is going to be URL to image. And finally, I'm going to add here the style. I'm going to say style display none. But we need to check whether whether it's set or not. Here I'm going to say and then is set post, and then URL to image, and we need to create a new variable called URL to image. So URL to image is going to be equal to post, and then URL to image. And finally here we need to say if empty, we need to say if empty URL to image, URL to image, then display this, else echo, and then what we need to echo now is that we need to echo the URL to image. Now let me save everything. Let me make sure that I don't have any problems. So everything is fine. Here I need to close this bracket, and everything is correct. Let me here click on file and then save all, and let's head on over to the browser to test. Now let me go back, and then let me refresh, and let's read one of these articles. Let's click on read more of one of these articles. For example, let me click on this one. Let me click on read more, and as you can see, it's going to display the news description and news article and the URL, but it's being displayed in a small card, and we don't want that. Since we are here displaying only one single article, we need this article to take the complete screen width. And to do that, to fix that, it's very simple. All you need to do is that you need to say here column large 12 instead of 12. If you say 12, this is gonna take the complete. This is gonna be centered, but in order to make it take the complete width, we need actually to change the CSS. Here in the CSS, we need to remove the width, because I have given this a width of 18 rem. You can increase this to 54, for example. Here 54. If you say here 54 and refresh, this is gonna take a much bigger space. As you can see, it's gonna take a much bigger space. You can increase this further, or even say 100%. Let's say let's give it 100%. If you say 100% and refresh, it should take a much bigger space. It's going to take the complete screen width space, but this doesn't look good, so we need to decrease this. So I'm going to decrease it to 80%. If you say 80%, it's going to take 80%, and it's going to leave some spaces from the left and from the right. And I think now it looks much better. Also, we need to display the title, and we need to also add this URL to an anchor tag. And by the way, here it's not displaying the complete content. The reason for this is because I'm using the free plan. If you want more if you want the complete article to be displayed here, you need to get the paid plan. Here you need to get the paid plan from this service or from any service in order to get more, in order to get the full article. Here it's just gonna display the first couple of sentences, unfortunately. But if you want to develop uh, a uh, a commercial news application, then you need to get a paid plan from here or from any service, and then you can display the complete article. And later I'm going to be working on more of the content here.